Hello and welcome to the incredibly influential and highly successful podcast. My name is Kael. I'm incredibly influential.
And I'm Maxwell, and I'm highly successful.
Today is January 31st, 2024 as we're recording this. And it's
It's the end of January.
we made it through the first month, you know? The hell has only just begun. Aren't you excited?
Yeah, man, totally.
Me too. It's going to be the last year of our lives. So, I'm looking forward to it.
Be careful what you wish for.
It's, we're living it. This could be it. Because Iran just attacked a bunch of troops in Jordan, and that's generally not a good thing. We might be going to war with Iran, which would not be good.
Yeah, we left there like 2-3 years ago.
We never invaded Iran.
Oh, we invaded Iraq. That's right.
Yeah,
we were supposed to invade Iran.
I mean,
not like supposed to, but like
should have, morally speaking.
Well, I mean, I'm more referring to like we're geographically the people responsible for the terrorist attacks were even like located. But of course, you want to hold a whole. I don't know. It's January.
Mm-hmm.
What more do you want?
We just gotta make it through. We gotta make it through February. February's a short month. Well, no, it's longer this year. It's a leap year.
That's right. You thought.
One extra day of this bullshit. They really drag it out, don't they? Because every 4 years is fucking shitty, 2016 was really bad. 2020 was really bad. 2024 is gonna be really fucking bad. So, I think we're all fucked. So,
great.
Why not enjoy it? Live a life of hedonism.
That's the attitude for 2024?
Mm-hmm.
We're all fucked.
Yep.
Throw that on a hat.
Oh, yeah. That we'd make $1 billion if we did. Because yes. Everybody knows we're fucked. It's great. Sorry, I'm eating popcorn right now. It's delicious.
Wow, so much courtesy you have for this podcast. Where I sit with you.
I'm hungry. I haven't eaten all day.
Now I gotta hear you eat popcorn. That's a funny thing about popcorn. It's like the loudest food you can eat, yet it's like a pastime for probably the quietest thing we share together communally.
That is true. That is a good point, It is one of life's great mysteries why popcorn is like the most popular like spectator food, I wonder what the reasons are that sort of led to that. I think that would be an interesting thing to like write a paper on, like if you were a history major.
You could do that.
I'm not a history major. It's not my job. Fuck you. You do it.
I'm not a history major either.
Well, shit. If you're a history major, look it up. Why is popcorn the default movie theater snack? Let's see. What do we got? So before I read the article, I have a theory. And I want to hear your opinions on this. So you know how popcorn, it's in kernels, right? And it's so much smaller. It's tiny, right? But it expands when you heat it. And not just like in the way that all things expand when you heat them. Like it really explodes. So I'm thinking like street vendors could carry a whole lot of popcorn and it would grow and expand and you'd be able to like give out more to people than you would like be carrying. Like more you're giving out more surface area than you're taking up with your unpopped popcorn, if that makes sense.
It's an interesting theory.
Yeah. But so the independent vendors who would sell it in the streets would go outside the movie theaters. From this article, it's from Mental Floss. It's by Maura Lieberman from April 1st, 2016. We got to cite our sources. We're fucking professionals. We're
give people their credit.
Yeah. I'm a STEM major, so I have to. But yeah.
Everyone has to.
I know, but I doubly have to. Or else they'll fucking shoot me in the head. But so the movie theater, before talkies, right? They were like, "Oh, this is a theater, this is not this is classy, right?" But so according to the article, before the talkies, it was nice and sophisticated. But when talkies happened, according to the article, like everyone can enjoy it. So the vendors would be outside, and they would just be, they'd make like 1.5 to double the profit because people walking by the movie theater, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm fucking hungry. Let's get some popcorn." Or they would go into the theater and, "Oh, we want to watch a movie. I'm hungry. Let's get some popcorn." Right? So then movie theater owners are like, "Well, that's bullshit. They're making all our fucking money. We can make more money." So that just makes sense.
So
and apparently,
in essence, movie theaters took away the privatized industry of popcorn and made it commercial for movie
sort
theaters.
of. Sort of. And in fact, during the Depression, again, according to the article, one of the theater owners actually dropped the price of the movie tickets so people would just come for the food. And I don't know if you've ever bought snacks at a fucking movie theater before, but that's basically what you're coming for. By money wise, you're coming for the popcorn.
Well, when you pay about as much for the ticket as you do the popcorn, I guess you're right.
Mm-hmm. But so much better. And I think that movie theaters are paying the popcorn people to exclusively get the good movie theater popcorn at the movie theater, and then the shitty popcorn that you get in bags and stuff, they're paying the suppliers to get the premium stuff, Does that make sense? That's not from the article, that's just my opinion. But another thing the article says,
so premium.
I don't know. But movie theater popcorn's just better. But again, according to the article, it really took off during World War II, and that makes a lot of sense because, sugar is going overseas, but there's no salt shortage or there's no kernel shortage, so I guess it popped off, which I think is interesting. So yeah, go check out that article. It's pretty cool. It's a good article.
Amazing.
It's intriguing,
First order of business done.
I
And
like
the origins of popcorn, movie theater popcorn.
Well, I don't think we touched the origins of popcorn itself, but I think we really.
How did it escape private industry and fall into the hands of the monster of AMC?
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Belly.
Now here's the question: why was it just popcorn that went into movie theaters? Why didn't nuts take off? Right?
I thought they did.
But nuts in a movie theater, I can never find Like, you know how when you go to Buc-ee's and they have like the candy, you don't know. You've never been to Buc-ee's. Shit, sorry. But you know, like when you're in New York City, right? And you see the stands on every fucking street corner that's fucking hot, salty nuts, right? And you know, you make a little joke about, oh,
Classic.
I love eating hot, salty nuts. You know, you make a little joke, everybody laughs. A good time's had by all. How come there's no hot, salty nuts in the movie theaters? You know?
I wonder what you should do about that. I think
I should take my hot, salty nuts to a movie theater.
I think you should bring your own hot salty nuts to the movies. Start it.
Nah, because big movie theater won't let me in with my own food, you know? The man is keeping me down.
Well, maybe you gotta sneak in your hot salty nuts into the theater and then, you know, open them up when you're inside.
You know? Something tells me I might be charged with a crime for that.
Yeah, they might remove you from the theater if they catch you unveiling your hot salty nuts in the theater.
Do you like your nuts? Do you like your hot nuts? Because everybody knows you like hot nuts more than cold nuts. But, you know, do you like your hot nuts salty or sweet?
Well, I personally like nuts for nuts, and they're cashews. And when they like, I don't know what they cook them in, but they do end up pretty sweet afterwards.
Mm,
And also,
yeah.
I don't know, most nuts don't feel very salty, even though I guess they are supposed to be. Like pistachios, I mean, they are salted. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're just sweet. But they're
I'm
always
talking more
delicious.
like I'm talking more like, you know, like the ones on all the street corners in Manhattan, right? Or like
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about too.
and like or like when you go to a ball game, right?
Yeah,
And
they
you get
serve
like the
sweet nuts.
sweet ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those ones are good.
I think I prefer those. Every time I go to Buc-ee's, I get
Wouldn't know.
The almonds. The almonds covered in whatever they fucking glaze them with. I think it's like cinnamon sugar or whatever. But it's really good. So I always get those. And I can never finish them while they're hot, which is a shame. But cuz I always get like a sandwich too or like a burrito. So it's like got to eat the burrito first cuz they're okay when they're cool, but they're not like you know, great when they're cool. They're just kind of okay. But like a sandwich when it's cold, it sucks. So you got to eat the sandwich first. But when you finish with the sandwich, you're full, and you can't put the hot sweet nuts in your mouth. You can't just scarf down those nice hot sweet nuts.
Yeah,
in
you
your
gotta like,
mouth.
you gotta give your body a chance to like re-energize.
Yeah, you know, there's such a thing as too many hot.
Too much in your mouth at once.
Yeah, there's such a thing as too many nuts in your mouth, you know? And I think, you know, we're totally naming this episode Hot Salty Nuts, by the way. You know that, right? Like, have you come to terms with that?
If you're, if that is what you think is right, then, you know, I can't deny that. I would be ashamed to deny that for you.
I think it's a good choice.
The naming of this to be Hot Salty Nuts.
If
that's what you see is best.
I think Hot Salty Nuts has a lot of character. I think getting those hot salty nuts, I think that's really. I think that would be up there with some of our best titles. You know, I think like what like what is it? Fucking Pants Down at the Urinal. That's a good title. What was it? We Need to Talk About Maya. That's another really good title. Oh, My Wife's Boyfriend's Favorite Episode. I like that one. That one's a good episode title. Oh yeah, Fitness and CDs. That's another one. God, this really is just me replaying the hits, isn't it?
This is a lot of our episodes.
It's just me talking about how good I am at doing titles. Friendzone by Shrek. I think Friendzone by Shrek is no. Friendzone by Shrek, and then above it is Dwayne the Cock Johnson. I love Dwayne the Cock Johnson. That is my favorite title we've ever done in my entire life.
I'm glad you're such a fan.
Are you glad that I'm a fan of Dwayne the Cock Johnson?
Yeah, I think it's fitting.
Yeah, I agree. Also, don't mind me. I'm just remixing some liquid IV into my water.
You're like
Is
the
it-
worst. You turn this into a popcorn liquid IV mukbang.
Hey, we're
What
not
happened? What happened to the honest conversation of hot salty nuts?
we're
and
not
our
sponsored
voices?
by popcorn. We're not sponsored by popcorn or hot salty nuts, but we are sponsored by liquid IV. So
But we are sponsoring them by talking about them here
I mean,
and
but are we
promoting.
though?
Well, if
I
you're eating
said-
popcorn and you're telling people not to eat it, I would call you a hypocrite.
If I said, you know, I like guys with mustaches, right? Would that necessarily mean that I'm sponsoring all guys with mustaches? Or does it mean like as a concept, I like them? You know?
I think you're sponsoring them to come on to you.
Are they
you-
gonna come
when
on to
you
me
give
and
that-
give me some hot salty nuts?
When you give an invitation like that,
I think
You're gonna
if
you're gonna be brustled by some fine mustaches.
if they, you know, if somebody wants to come over, if a man with a mustache wants to come over and give me some hot salty nuts, I'm not gonna say no. You know, like hell yeah, mustache man, give me some of those hot salty nuts. I want to put them in my mouth, right? I want to savor them. I want to have that flavor. You know, I want to really, you know, wring out all the flavor while they're in my mouth. You know, this is fucking gross.
I see.
This is
No, I
fucking
see.
gross. God, we're just fucking 10-year-olds.
You got a way of wanting things done.
Mm-hmm. I'm very particular when it comes to mustachioed men with their hot salty nuts. You
And
know,
how you want your nuts. Yes.
I do.
Oh, of course.
And I mean, if I had hot salty nuts, hypothetically,
To
you know,
give.
to give, that's how I would want someone to partake in my hot salty nuts.
Right.
You know,
You don't want like to be refused your own hot salty nuts impolitely, you know.
Exactly.
You want it
Right?
to be you want it to be respected.
or like I don't want you to just throw them in your mouth for like a second and just be like, "Oh, I'm done." No, I want you to savor it. You know, I want you to enjoy it and really like, you know, feel it and savor it and take that experience and really live with it. You know?
I think you're like capitalizing more on the enjoyment of your own nuts than the enjoyment of other people's nuts.
But
I think you should learn to enjoy other people's nuts.
No, I'm saying.
I mean, I'm saying there's nothing wrong with enjoying your own, but I think you should you know,
No, I mean, if only I could.
humble what
you know?
everyone can offer.
But what I'm saying is, like, that's how I like to do it for others, so I would want that done for me, you know? Because I have that experience of enjoying other people's hot, salty nuts.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah, like,
that's
it's like do unto others as you would want done unto yourself, right? But it's
Yes.
like backwards, you know?
No, it's exactly that. No, it's just the conversation is about your nuts and their nuts.
Exactly. We're going to hell for this. What is this show? What are we doing?
No, you know, this is exactly what we set it out to be.
That is true.
I will defend that claim.
Whenever I go to New York City and I see someone with the fucking the hot salty, they invite it. when they say hot, salty nuts, right? And they don't specify which ones. They just say hot, salty nuts, right? If you're not gonna specify, if you're gonna make my job that easy, like you gotta realize you're inviting that sort of jocular juvenile behavior. You know, it's
Of
like,
course.
yeah, like
You can't help it as a
right.
customer.
I can't help myself. Like, I see the sign, and I know that I can get a cheap laugh. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna run with it.
And some hot nuts.
Cheap laugh, cheap nuts. Usually, I don't know. Sometimes they kind of jack the prices, but you know, cheap laugh, cheap nuts. Good time is had by all. Right? It's a win. It's a win. Right?
Right?
I think the number one audience for those stands are people who make hot salty nuts jokes. So, really, if they want to like
I mean, why
come
else
out
would
and
you get why would you get into the business and not if not for the enjoyment of what you do?
no, I mean like their primary audience, right? I think the people who they sell to the most are people who are making hot salty nuts jokes. So if, a proud like salesman of hot salty nuts like comes like if the hot salty nuts like uh union finds us here or like flames us on Twitter, right? I think you got to understand like really who's your base. That's right, people who make hot salty nuts jokes. So I think you have to have at least a begrudging respect for people who say hot salty nuts in my mouth, because that's at the end of the day, that's who's paying your checks. You got to respect the consumer,
Right, and that is the ideal consumer.
right? Because they get their laughs, and once you get someone laughing, it is a proven fact that if you get someone laughing, like they will do what you want, you know. So you've established that rapport. They come in, they're like hot salty nuts, um, and they're more likely to spend money. So I think really, if there are any hot salty nut salesmen out there, those who purvey the hot salty nuts, and they're really anti like the hot salty nuts based humor, I think they've got to re-examine like where their primary customer base is, and really change their attitude accordingly. I love how this is like a sincere business
Sincere
dialogue.
letter. Yes.
Like this is sincere business discussion and like actual applicable advice for fucking hot salty nuts. Jesus Christ.
I mean,
What are we doing?
it seems like it's a very large industry. When you go to the city and you see that there's a real place for a business selling hot salty nuts.
I mean, New York, I don't think it's quite moved to Chicago yet. If
No.
you do see stuff on the street in Chicago, which is very rare, I think there's probably like more ordinances in Chicago about that, which is sad. I will say, Chicago's a lot cleaner than New York City, don't get me wrong. The invention of alleyways would have really helped you. But
You can keep your alleyways in Chicago. I think we don't need them.
you really fucking do. Your city is covered in garbage. It is covered in garbage.
Is that all that alleyways are designed for?
Yeah, it's a place for you to put your garbage.
For garbage? That's gross. I would rather just not have that space in this city.
But then you've got garbage all over your fucking walkways and people. And plants and animals. Or you can keep it contained to the area where it's meant to be. And then your walkways are a lot cleaner. I don't know if you've been to Chicago recently, but like
Well, I've been to the city and I don't see garbage like that.
I mean, I do. And I think overall the amount of money. I'm not a city planner, right? I will say I'm not a civil engineer. I'm not a city planner. I am a psych and management student. So take this with a grain of salt, perhaps. But I think the money that Chicago is losing out on by having alleyways, they are making up for in having to pay less people to like pick up trash in like the walkways and the sidewalks and whatever. Right? I think you're making up for it because trash goes in the alleyways and it's done and you don't have to worry about it. Like the garbage people come, they deal with that, they're done. In New York, it's all on the curb. It's all gross. It's disgusting. Fuck New York City. Uh but
What a tough choice
yeah.
between gross alleys and gross streets, I
I mean,
guess,
but you never have
if
to
you
walk
say
down
so.
the alleyways. You never have to walk in the alleys.
That's just lost real estate.
That's true, but I'm saying that you're making up for that by having to pay less people with like their salaries and shit and just be like, you know, like it's cleaner so you don't have to pay as many people to pick up garbage because there's less garbage to pick up because it's all in little designated areas. So it's not that bad. And, for a long time, Chicago was number 2 in terms of like cities and stuff,
What?
Uh
When did they get that? When did they get that? There's a lot of
uh
cities.
in terms of like in the US. I don't know if there was ever a time where it was larger than Mexico City. Probably not. But at least in terms of just the US, um, Chicago was number 2 for a very long time up until like because it was founded in like the early-ish 1800s, like well before the Civil War. But it didn't quite hit its stride until like right about after. But like, hang on, I gotta get my timeline right. Um, so like starts out in like the early 1800s. Um, there's this guy, uh, Dusable. I forget his full name. He's French, so he has a long ass name. But he comes up. He's like, "Fuck yeah, this is a good place to make a city." So he settles it, and a lot of people start flocking there. But it doesn't really hit its stride and like get bigger than Boston for a while. And then we have the Great Fire towards the end of the 19th century. But then after that, really starts to pop off. And it's not until Hollywood gets really big, if I recall correctly, if I recall my Illinois state history. I'm not a native here, so it's not really my strong suit. They didn't really go over this in elementary school that often. But but like by the time like Hollywood gets really big, that's when LA starts to take over and gets larger, right? Like it starts with the gold rush, but it's still not that big. It's still not bigger than Chicago. But after Hollywood and like they had to create an entire new medium of communication and entertainment to make Los Angeles bigger than Chicago. That's all I'm going to say. So there for LA to be the king killer, they had to really beef that shit up. And people are leaving LA. Well, are they leaving LA? They're leaving California, but I don't know if they're leaving LA. So there's a chance that Chicago might get big again, but I don't know. People are leaving Chicago as well. So it's all up in the air, but I think there's a real chance that if there's like some other industry that decides that Chicago is going to be the main like hub area for it, LA's fucking toast because LA fucking sucks. LA sucks. You can quote me on that. Fuck LA.
Damn, just roasted all of LA.
It's a bad city. It's a bad city.
No
I
one
don't like it.
spared.
It's a bad city. It is dry and hot, and there's a lot of crime, and it's dirty, and it's hot, and it's gross, and it's hot. And I don't like it.
I think you
And
used the same reason like 3 times.
I would like to preface again that it's fucking hot, and it sucks, and it's hot. I want to reiterate that the temperature has a lot to do with it, and it's only going to keep getting hotter there. And granted, it's not as dry or as hot as like Palm Springs, because Palm Springs is on the other side of the mountains and it's in a rain shadow desert, but it's still fucking ass in LA. San Diego's pretty cool though. San Diego's okay. I don't mind San Diego, but yeah, fuck LA. I of the three largest city, but let's get back on track, right? Let's get back on track.
What
I've
was
got
the track?
before we go to the ad break, I wanna get your opinion. Would you rather have a cleaner city with more like food carts or like whatever kind of vendors per like per square mile, or would you rather have or like a dirtier city with more vendors or a cleaner city with less?
I guess a dirtier city with more.
I think that's probably I go back and forth, right? Because there's
Food anywhere
not
you walk is like kind of why the city is pretty great.
yeah,
It's a lot of the
um
reason.
even though fucking New York hot dogs are not good. Um
But
if you
being
put
able to
ketchup on
like
your hot dog, you're a fucking
just
criminal.
just having like food walking distance is so good. It is like
Yeah. There's not like not food. It's just that even
it's
when you go in
convenient.
the city,
It's really
there's
convenient.
yeah, even when you go in the summer to the downtown Chicago, you have to go into a building to get food. There's not a lot of like vendors doing hot dogs outside. If you want a hot dog, usually you got to go to Portillo's, and that's just fucking lame. Because Portillo's always has a ridiculously fucking long line, especially with the fucking drive-through. Oh my god, have you ever seen like you've been to California, right? Have you ever seen how long the lines are for In-N-Out?
No.
Okay, so they're pretty long. Portillo's has that exact same length. It's like 12 car lengths, but also it's 2 cars wide. So there's like 24 cars in a line at any given time at any given Portillo's. Like if Portillo's is open, they're fucking swamped. It's ridiculous. And they're not even making like very complicated meals, right? It's beef sandwiches, beef variants of beef sandwiches. I was going to say the beef croissants, but that's again basically just beef sandwich. Um, or hot dogs, or I think maybe they do salads, and that's it, right? It's not very difficult. Oh no, they do ribs. They do barbecue ribs, but like it's basically just like a sort of similar to like a Subway, where they're always roasting beef, they're always making hot dogs, they're always barbecuing ribs, and even then it takes a while because there's just so many orders that they're churning through. So I would say, like, I would trade like 25% more dirty for 25% more convenient food, like carts and whatever the fuck. I would say that's a reasonable trade.
Percentages. Oh, you're losing me.
I Hey, STEM major, STEM and business. Oh god. I'm all numbers. I hate that. I hate that.
You
Um
chose the life.
no, the life chose me. I'm not a
But
businessman. I'm a businessman. You know? You know what I mean? God. Now that's a debate we can have after the ad break about which city has better rappers. But you know, uh, hmm, that is a debate for after the ad break because we need to make some moolah. We gotta fulfill some contractual obligations. So we'll catch you after. This episode is sponsored by Liquid IV, the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. We've been partnering with them all summer, and I've been using it to beat the heat through some of these particularly nasty heat waves. While it was scorching hot outside, I was staying cool and refreshed with Liquid IV and their 12 delicious flavors.
One stick of liquid IV in 16 ounces of water hydrates you twice as fast and far more efficiently than water alone, and it also contains 5 essential vitamins and 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks, without any GMOs, gluten, dairy, or soy. Liquid IV is also committed to equitable access to clean water worldwide, partnering with leading organizations to fund and foster innovative solutions with communities that protect both their water and their futures, and donating 39 million servings in 50 plus countries around the world.
Real people, real flavor, real hydrating. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code IIHSPodcast, all one word, at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code IIHSPodcast, again, all one word, at liquidiv.com. Thank you again to Liquid IV for partnering with us. This podcast is sponsored by Amanda Redwine, your no-nonsense talk therapist and parent coach. Serving individuals and couples in both Illinois and Florida for counseling/therapy, as well as worldwide for parent coaching. Amanda's specialty is working with teens and young adults, as well as their family systems. Amanda has extensive experience working with youth who identify on the LGBTQIA+ spectrum. She has also done couples work based on a foundation of the Gottman method. She brings a light, no-nonsense approach to treatment that is approachable and empathetic. She is unflappable and makes her clients comfortable from the very beginning. Find out more at www.amandaredwine.com. That's AMANDAREDWINE.com. Thank you again for sponsoring this episode, and back to the show. Hello, welcome back. It is, what is it, one day later?
Yes.
Yeah,
we're in next month.
we are. It's been, we waited all the way to February to finish this episode.
You want to hear some crazy news that just happened in the
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this famous what is it, Ferrari racer? No,
Yeah.
Formula One racer
Yeah.
named Lewis Hamilton switched from his 10 years, soon to be 11 years of confidence with Mercedes to
Yeah.
Ferrari.
One of my friends who's into Formula One, actually, the person who we dedicated the very first episode of this show to, my friend Zoe, she posted that on her Snapchat story.
See,
so I heard that.
It's big news.
It is. She has a huge crush on Lewis Hamilton. So sorry to expose you, Zoe, but
Whoa.
We all know.
We know now.
But yeah, that's big news in the Formula One scene.
Yeah, I don't really have like a very serious opinion on it, but I think it's very funny because everyone who cares about it says this news doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it is kind of a
to understand why people are saying that, it's because both Mercedes and Ferrari are competing against Red Bull for the fastest Formula One car.
Yeah, I hear Red Bull does really well.
Yeah, and the problem is like both Mercedes and Ferrari are in the same boat where they both have a need to build a new and faster car. So it's like trading one problem for the same problem.
Yeah. I mean, we do that a lot, don't we?
Totally fair.
That's isn't that the story of humanity? Here's actually, I have a story from just this afternoon that is sort of similar to that, trading one problem for another. So, I'm really peeved about this because I feel like this is very inefficient. So, in between my house and my school, there is a train track, right? Amtrak uses it, freight trains use it, all that sort of, business, train related activities. I am coming home from school. I have finished my classes. I would like to go home and actually I was what was I doing? I was getting ready for D&D actually. We just recorded that. We had a great time, by the way. We're really excited for that first episode to come out, but we're going to hold off a few weeks just to see if this gels cuz the last lineup didn't quite gel. So sorry about that, everyone. But yeah, we're testing this new lineup. But anywho, I'm excited. I'm like, I'm excited about D&D. I'm like, ooh, I gotta like workshop some stuff. I'm gonna take Buster out. I'm gonna take the dog out for a walk, and we're gonna brainstorm some stuff. But I pull up to the red light or the traffic light for the train, and it turns red right as I'm like up at the front to turn left. And I'm like, ah, man, you know what? It sucks, but whatever. And then the train bars come down, and the flashing lights and all the, ding, 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 like there's a train coming, right? So I put my car in park because I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to be here for a while. But then there was no train. Like they just came down for no fucking reason. And
Nice. They just didn't like you trying to get somewhere, I
yes.
think.
But here's the kicker, right? While the train bars are coming down, there's a red light at the street that's going perpendicular or parallel to the tracks. So there's a green light facing us when we can't go, but there's a red light facing them when they totally could. So I'm wondering, how often does that occur? How often is that an occurrence where there's a red light on the street when people could totally go, but there's a green light when there's a train coming, right? I'm wondering how many seconds that holds people back, right? I'm thinking about this from an economics perspective.
You'll have to factor in all the time people waste thinking about how much time is wasted.
Hey, I don't think that's time wasted, right? Especially not here because we're talking about it while we're making money. So you know what? I don't. I'm having a good time. I'm fine to just talk about dumb bullshit and make money on it. That's cool in my book. But thinking about that sort of thing, right? Think about all the man hours that are wasted over the year. Say that happens, once a day for 20 seconds per day, right? 365 days a year. And we'll say, on average, the people behind both of those red lights, let's say every time that happens, there's 10 people, right? So you're going to have 20 seconds per 10 people. That's 200 seconds. That is a minute, right? That's over a minute for, collectively. And then you... that's over, what is that? That's over 3 minutes, actually. So we'll round it down to 180 seconds. It's 3 minutes. Now, 3 minutes for 366, because this is a leap year. 366 times 3 minutes per year. 366 times 3. That's 1,098 minutes divided by 60. That is 18.3 man hours wasted. All those people could have been doing something super productive with that time, but there was no train coming, and there was no way for us to get through. There was no one who was at the so we've covered 3 of the 4 ways you can go on the intersection. There was no one on the fourth lane that's sort of facing the train tracks, but like perpendicular to them, there was no one there either, so it wasn't red for them. Like, it wasn't red to like let them, turn left or right. It was red for literally no reason. So 18.3 man hours per year, every year, for no fucking good reason. Why? Why does this need to happen?
Obviously, it's for you.
It is. It is for me. And what I don't understand is there's a fucking college right here. There's a fucking whole university. And there is, as far as I can tell, there's a civil engineer program here. So why the fuck don't they just get someone from the civil engineering program to be like, hey, that's inefficient. That wastes like almost 20 man hours a year for no fucking reason. If the town of where I'm at collectively had 18 more man hours per year, that could, make some serious difference, right? Like, a lot can happen in 18 man hours, like that's a lot of work, like cumulatively, people like, you gotta look at like where 20 more seconds for 10 more people every single day. A lot of things can happen with that. A lot of money could be made in town. A lot of like positive developments could happen in 18.3 man hours per year. So that's my gripe, is we need to make sure that traffic lights are running more efficiently with fucking train signs. That's my Roman Empire, is imagine how much time you could save if the traffic lights ran a little bit more efficiently. Like, come on. I fucking love man hours. Have you ever had to take a class about like economics or like accounting or whatever, and like talked about man hours? Because it's really interesting.
No, I haven't.
I love it. It's one of my favorite parts about like econ or business. I first learned about it in my personal finance class. With my that was in high school. Shout out Mr. Bannon, not Mr. O'Bannon. Sorry, that was someone else. Mr. Bannon, fucking love you, dude. You're awesome. I doubt he's listening to this because I doubt he remembers me, but I fucking love Mr. Bannon. He's a homie. Also, shout out Mr. Holden, got me into psychology, and now I'm a psych major going for a doctorate. So yeah, you can take credit for some of that. So yeah, shout out Mr. Holden.
Nice.
Yeah, I had a lot of good teachers in high school. I would say, on the whole, I have had more good teachers in high school than bad ones. Because
Well, you're very fortunate.
Yeah, at the school we had together, I would say, we had like
we had 4 teachers.
5 if you want to count JW.
Yeah,
if you want to count him, you can say 5.
Or
if you want to count Kael, you could say 6.
Actually, I would count 5 because we had we had this teacher named Kate, and Kate was great.
Oh,
we don't talk about
you
Kate.
didn't count Kate? You didn't count Kate to begin with? Oh, that was my count. It was, so we had, I don't want to,
that's
like,
4 people.
Yeah, I don't want to name like last names, but we had Rob,
We stand Kate,
Craig, Dave, and Kate, and those were my first 4. And then I was like, what about Jay? Jay was 5 for me, and then Kyle was 6, and then Rebecca came in to replace Rob.
I guess you didn't count. You didn't count David.
No, I said Dave.
Oh, you said Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Oh well, I don't know. They, yeah, very lucky of you.
I think all in all, between those teachers that we shared, I would say most of them were okay. I'll say Rob was okay, Rebecca was okay, Jay wasn't a great teacher, but you know what? That wasn't like his main job, so he gets a pass. He was sort of like
He was
the
the teacher's boss, and he was like
yes,
okay at that too.
but he also taught classes. Um, so because he was doing like two jobs at once, he sort of was at both of them. Um, Craig was great. Shout out Craig. Um, Dave was cool, and Kate was awesome. Kate and my mom were friends because uh, you know, you know. If
I
you know,
do,
you know. If
I
you don't
do
know, then
know.
you don't know.
I
Um, yeah, it's a you'll figure it out when you're older. How about that? But yeah, I would say. Oh, and Kyle was awesome. Kyle's a fucking G. So um, yeah,
Oh yeah, Professor
Kyle,
Kyle.
yeah. He yeah, I think he's getting married soon. So shout out Kyle. Love you, man. Um, yeah, good luck on that. Yeah. So I as far as the teachers we shared, on the whole pretty good. And then in high school, I can only really remember like as far as teachers for like actual subjects, I don't think I ever had anyone that was like too bad or anything. Like I had like one who was like sort of out
Well,
of touch.
this isn't very interesting. We're just talking
I
about
know.
good teacher experiences.
I'm trying to determine like the ratio of like good teachers to bad teachers because you know how like in pop culture, teachers are evil, they're out to get you and all that
Did you
shit.
ever have a teacher send you to Walmart as part of an
No.
education purposes? Well,
I want to hear this. This sounds very interesting.
well, it happened at our school.
Were you the person who was sent to Walmart or
I mean, actually, I was.
who sent you? What?
They
That sounds like a fucking
like
Batman
a death
interrogating an
sentence.
assassin.
It was
Who
really
sent you?
it was really funny because like this was when like me and my buddy worked there. So we were both like, please let us not be seen with our school. This is like not,
Oh, you
we
worked at
can't
Walmart? I don't remember you ever working at Walmart.
really. I worked there for freaking 10 months.
I never remembered that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
This was in New York, right?
What?
No, wait. You worked at that Walmart in that town, and I never knew.
Yeah, isn't that hilarious? Your
Having lived
terrible
literally
memory.
across a parking lot from you.
See, you didn't even care.
It's hey man, you know what? I will kind of admit, you know what? You have a point there. You have a point there. That
Maybe you
maybe I
didn't
could have
care.
cared a little bit more.
Maybe you could have cared a little more about my life and what I was doing.
I literally have no recollection of that. Did did JP work with you? He had a roommate called JP. So
Yes.
JP worked at the. I kind of remember JP maybe working at Walmart, but like,
Yes. We worked.
really?
Yeah.
How come I never saw you at Walmart then?
Maybe you just always went to self-checkout, you piece of shit,
I probably
since
did.
you didn't care.
I mean, did you get your what is it? Your fucking magic fix? Your Magic the Gathering fix at while
You
you're
mean
working at Walmart?
working?
No, like yeah, I don't know. Didn't you get like an employee discount or some shit? Oh
Yeah,
no, Walmart doesn't really give those, do they?
on like Coke and Nabisco products.
That's
They were
it?
like, yeah.
Wow, that sucks ass, dude. That sucks ass. And
Yeah,
like,
corporate America.
yeah. Like I was gonna say, like, if you and what was it, JP got um Walmart discounts, you could have gotten like discounts on like your groceries and shit. That would have been, nifty at least. But if it was that limited, damn, that sucks, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did not do what you think it did.
None of my roommates worked anywhere there at the end, at least. We had one not I don't think he was your roommate, but we had one housemate who then became my roommate, um, or apartment mate, flatmate, I guess, if you want to be all British about it. who I will remain who I will allow to remain nameless, but if he listens to this, you know who you are. You know what you did. Um,
Whoa, this is like vicious.
but
This is vengeful.
he had some hygiene issues, to put it mildly, and he worked at Arby's. And let's just say, I don't trust Arby's anymore. Yeah, I never went to that Arby's after I found out that he was working there. Uh, and then it took me a couple years before I would go to another Arby's.
It's kind
Uh,
of a shame that like, because in a cruel twist, he had serious like sensitive issues to bacteria.
I
So
mean, yeah, but then he didn't, shower. So like, how are you gonna stay clean from the bacteria if you don't cleanse yourself, dude? And he was just like an asshole roommate and like an asshole person too, you know? Like he would do these like gross shit. Like he would like
can
pop.
we talk about that funny story because it's crazy. I mean, like it's kind of evil to an extent.
All right, do you want to tell it? Do you want to
It's a
tell
bit
it?
of everything, you know? It's about perspective.
I'll let you tell it. I'll let you tell it. You
Okay,
don't get to tell stories that often. It's usually me telling stories, so I'm gonna let you tell
so
one.
this is when we both lived at apartments
Yes.
and uh someone was someone was moving out. I don't remember. I thought it was you. I thought you were moving out, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, I only ever moved from the place across town to the one by the school, and that was it. Uh,
Okay, well,
I only ever moved
essentially
twice or
essentially
once.
what happened is I'm moving into this space and I'm living with this roommate of yours and I'm trying to accommodate to like his certain needs because I need him to be a contributing member of our apartment. He
Yes.
can't he can't like not cook or not do the dishes. One, because like it's not fair to the other people living with him, but also
True.
because it's a part of kind of being independent in this program, this school
Yeah.
that we're at. So
Exactly.
I'm doing this stuff and I'm like, ah, it's okay, it's all right. And then a plot hatches between me and your roommates.
Oh
And
yes. Are we talking Ethan and Chris?
yeah, I wasn't using names, but
Oh, I think it's okay to use like first names. We won't
we hatch a
use.
plot.
Yes.
And essentially, while everyone is not suspicious, because why would they be? Um,
Yeah.
we take all my stuff from my room and we walk it down an entire street and then into this like housing complex. And then we just move me into this recently vacated room in their place. And then we moved all of your stuff to my room. And then we were like, we don't know how this happened. And, we got our like house head and he's like, well, switch it back. And we're like, well, what if I don't want to switch it back? And what if it's already happened? And we're just going to make this a thing now. And somehow I got away with it. And then I proceeded to like not live in the original space that was arranged for me
Yeah, I
for like
remember.
for like the last 5 months of my stay.
Yeah, you had that yeah, it was like that new development. So while we were at boarding school, they
I was
sort of.
there for a little bit, um but then like, he moved in and I was like, "You know what? It's fine." And then I think
And then
I
it
had
wasn't
this
fine.
No, it was perfect. It was actually perfect because did you ever live with Eric? Did you ever do that?
No, I never got to live with Eric.
Okay, that's funny because I basically like left Eric and our our third roommate
JP.
to no,
Oh, the bad roommate, the nameless one.
the one I don't want
Everyone in
to.
this story can be named except for the nameless one. How about that?
Yeah, it's because you've said so many mean things about him. I feel bad if we mention his
I
name.
said I was going to give him the respect of anonymity, and that's the only respect I can afford for him. Is all
Yeah,
I'll say.
because you're not respecting anything else, clearly.
What was there to respect? What was there?
Uh,
Uh,
the the
yeah.
the privacy of his own struggles.
He made his struggles very public in a very gross way. So I have no respect for that. And they forced me to live with him for many more months than I was comfortable with. And I was more accommodating than I should have been, which was not at all. The fact that I gave him any sort of accommodation whatsoever is more mercy and patience than even Job had. So,
Well,
yeah.
I feel
But
like this has gone pretty off topic. The point is, I successfully pulled off a room heist
you did.
where I I moved myself out and I was never penalized for it
Yeah.
and
I think
proceeded.
I heard about this. I don't think I was involved because my stuff was all in. I was the only one who didn't move that day. I stayed in my own room. Eric and Chris came to live with me. And oh my god, when they came to live with me, my life got so much fucking better. I fucking love Ethan and Chris. I'm so sad. So my parents are still in contact with Chris's parents. Because Chris's dad literally saved my grandma's life. So we
Oh yeah,
my
did he perform like
CPR.
CPR? Yeah,
Yeah, my
that's a
grandma had
that's
a
a
cardiac event.
that's a crazy story.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't even there for it. They were having a dinner, and I think I was packing to go home on like a home visit. Uh, all I know is I was not there. I think I was still at the um. No, I might have been at the hotel. I think I went to the hotel, and my grandma went with my mom and my stepmom to like a dinner thing in and with all the other like parents and stuff. And my grandma had a fucking cardiac event, but because Chris's dad is like a cardiologist or whatever you
Yeah,
call them. I think
like
it's a cardiologist.
the people who work on hearts.
Yeah, like an open. I think he's an open heart surgeon too. And he just like, yeah, I got you. And they took her to the hospital thing, and
The way you simplified it to from
I wasn't
CPR
there
to
for it.
I got you.
That's, I mean, from what I heard, that's what it was. Is he was just like, yeah, I know what to do. I'm a fucking G. I know. I'm a G unit. This is a ain't nothing new. That's how I heard about it. So maybe maybe the people who were there can dispute it. Grandma certainly can't. Uh, but that's from no fault of Chris's dad. That's just plain old sad old age. Fuck age, fuck cancer. That's that's the that's the thing. But yeah, no, Chris's dad's a fucking G, and they took her to what was it, UVU hospital, and they were just like, oh yeah, she needs a pacemaker, and they put a pacemaker in. I don't think she had a single cardiac event for the rest of her life. So yeah, that was awesome. That was yeah, it's a great story, and
See, us and our like really like shitty narrating of very great stories.
right, we're so bad at this. Uh, I think it would have helped if maybe we had just committed to like using names beforehand and just been like, we'll use first names and that'll be the rule.
For for uh for the sake of anonymity, Kael's grandmas will remain anonymous.
I mean, she's fucking dead, bro. She, you can't really dox
For
her.
respect for the victim,
She is living. She is in a box in my stepmom's office. She is gone.
but
I
the box will remain anonymous.
sure. Sure, why not? But yeah, yeah. I love how we were talking about hot salty nuts yesterday to my grandma's fucking cardiac event.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's great. This is what you get on this fucking show. This
this
is
is what
what you
a
get.
this is what taking a day off will do to you.
It
So
really does.
I, that's a lesson for everyone. Is
No days off. Hashtag no days off.
no,
Hashtag
take a
grind
day
set.
off. You might surprise yourself.
I mean, is this a good
You might
surprise though?
you might think of something that has nothing to do with whatever you were trying to do the day before,
That's
but
correct.
you might still feel better from it.
Fair, fair. But
Even
yeah,
if the two things will have no connection or correlation with each other whatsoever.
yeah. Also, I do want to say about Arby's, even though they have suspect hiring processes, they kept the nameless one out of my apartment for
Arby's?
several. Yes, Arby's kept the nameless one out of my apartment for hours at a time. So you know what? Fucking respect. I'm sorry to all the people who ate food that he touched, but you know what? You know,
Why? I did. I lived with him.
I didn't, and I lived with him for longer. That's how you know. Yeah. That was my commitment to the bit of fucking hating him. Except it wasn't a bit, it was true. I will say, uh, me and a friend of ours, Andrew, we were definitely the people who hated him the most. And
Yeah.
you were definitely fucking sucking up to everyone by being like, oh, he's not that bad. He's not that bad. Fuck you. Fuck you. Now, all right, I want some vindication. Now
Forgive
that
me for trying to defend someone who like did not actively try to attack either of you
it
in any
wasn't
way.
it wasn't, like physical violent attacking, but
It wasn't any attacking on his
no,
part.
it wasn't physical violence, I will
He
say
was not
that.
he was not attacking either of you any time that whole time you were both sharing a living space.
Okay.
But he was attacked constantly by both of you, which isn't
I
fair.
didn't attack him
Okay,
physically.
well,
He was Louis C.K.ing me every, almost all the fucking time. He was Louis C.K.ing me, bro. So I feel like I've earned a little bit of a fucking vindication. Considering, you know, if Louis C.K. is no longer allowed to have a career, then I think I'm allowed to fucking throw some verbal jabs at a guy who's fucking jacking off in his fucking pocket. Uh, when we repeatedly tell him to stop. So fuck that guy. Um, fuck everyone who made me live with him. And yeah, fuck the system. Fuck the rules. Fuck the establishment, and fuck Arby's. You want to do a big red button?
let's do it.
I'm fired up. I sort of went into this a little too hot. Um. Uh.
He's so hot right now, everyone.
I came into it. I was red in the face. I was
He's
like
still too hot. He needs time to
blustering.
cool down. He's too hot he's overheating on words.
I made my landing approach a little too fast, and so now I need to pull back and make another approach. But all right.
I really did not need that verbal connotation in my ears, please.
What?
I don't need to hear about you pulling out and having to reposition yourself.
Ew, gross.
This is what you said.
Fuck you. I know I said it, but fuck you. Um. Shit. Shit.
You better pull out again.
No, I have it actually. Uh. So this is going to tie into what we were talking about before we went into this nosedive of poorly narrating stories.
Are we going back to the salty nuts?
No. We're going to I think
Oh,
we're gonna go to the
a
train
hot?
thing. I think we're gonna go to the train thing. You want to talk about the train thing, or do you want to do a hot salty nuts one? Do you
Sure,
want a hot salty nuts one?
I love trains. We talked so much about trains today
Uh,
for because we have to be mad. We have to
okay.
be mad about it.
Um, you will never get stuck behind a train again, but you
Such a
have to.
weirdly specific place to be like stuck behind. Like
Do you not?
like like the actual behind of a train, you're
No,
actually
like
stuck behind. Like
behind
you
a
have to wait
train
for the train to
crossing.
move.
You are stuck behind a train crossing, stuck at a train crossing. You'll never have to do that again. But the only music you can ever listen to in your car is by the band Train.
That sounds awful. Give me those 18 hours every year behind a train. I would rather not deal with that.
Yeah, fuck Train.
I haven't
I
heard a single train song, but I already know that I could listen to better music waiting
You've
in a
never
train.
heard Hey Soul Sister?
Oh, yes.
Did you? I was gonna say you escaped 2010 without listening to fucking
I
Hey
think
Soul
I just
Sister.
deleted like the memories that I picked up of train and their music affecting my life until
I'm
you just
not lucky
brought it
enough
back.
for that. Now you can suffer the pain that I've been suffering.
You know, I haven't been vindictive today like you have, but I will say fuck train.
Yeah. Fuck Pat Monahan. That's the lead singer of Train. Um, yeah, I know them well enough to know the lead singer's fucking name. So I have not been lucky enough to escape their fucking insidious plague that they spread on music from what was it? Fucking 1990 fucking I don't know, 1992 to 2012, we'll say. For 20 fucking years, they spread their little virus all over music and they fucking ruined it. And I have not been able to escape their wrath for years. And so I would personally take all 18.3 man hours every year of being stuck behind a train if it meant I didn't have to listen to Train in the car. Because holy shit, dude. They were fucking everywhere. Do you remember that song Drive By?
Yeah, I do.
Do you remember the line,
After you mentioned train,
looking
all
for a
those memories.
two-ply hefty bag to hold my love? Do you remember that? Do you remember the hefty bag line? Because I remember the fucking hefty bag line.
If you had to describe love and you had to use the words two ply,
Hefty bag to hold my love. Oh, you son of a bitch, Pat Monahan. When he dies, when
never
he
has
dies, we need to cut his brain open to figure out what the fuck went wrong so we can prevent it from ever happening again.
we should, it's to find that heavy bag that he's been carrying all his stuff in.
Exactly. All of his love. Ew. Ew. By the way, fucking ew. Um,
He can
uh,
keep that heavy bag to himself. Thank you very
uh,
much.
what is it? Your lipstick stains on the front lobe of my left side brains. Fuck you, Pat Monahan. Fuck you. He's awful. I hate him. I hate him. I hope. I hear he's a really good dude. Um.
I
I
love
hear.
that. I love that shift.
No, no, no.
Fuck him. I hear it's a really good dude.
No. I'm gonna reiterate. Fuck him there at the end. But I
But to
want to.
reiterate, I've heard he's a really good dude.
Nobody likes his music. He's fucking awful. But you know, with like album sales and shit like that, he does donate to charity. Um. He re-recorded what was it? Led Zeppelin 2, I think. Uh, and like all the profits from that went to like music education programs, I think, for kids. Um, uh, so fuck you for even touching Led Zeppelin, but at least all the profits from that fucking travesty went to teaching kids to be better at music than you, Pat fucking Monahan, you son of a bitch. Yeah. You're a scumbag, and for what you did to music, I will never forgive you. But keep donating to charity and trying to redeem yourself. That's what I'll say. And I think we can end the podcast having made an enemy of Pat Monahan. Jesus Christ.
Let's go.
Yeah. I want to say thank you to Justin Connor for your patronage. We really appreciate it. Many months, you know. If it's February,
Keeping
I
the
think it's like
lights
2.5.
The lights literally would turn off. What the fuck would we do?
Yeah, aren't you at like 1.5 years? Or yeah, 1.5 years. If you started in August of 2022, and we're in February 2024, that's 1.5 years. So thank you for your continued support, Justin. We really appreciate it. If you guys want to join Justin in the, you know, exclusive club of our patrons, head on over patreon.com/IIHS podcast. We have a link down in the description. Head on over there, join the subscriber tier for a cool shout out in the description of every episode and a cool verbal shout out as well. We're sort of working on maybe adding some more benefits to that as well, so stay tuned. We'll probably if you don't hear anything else about it, then you don't hear anything else about it. But we have something cooking. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But if you join our $5 tier, you get to hear all these episodes early as soon as they're done being edited and ad free, which is, you know, it's super cool. You don't have to skip through the ad break. You know, it's fun. And we also do movie commentaries as well. You know what? I have an idea of one that we might do this for Valentine's Day. So stay tuned to that. And yeah, that's really fun. We also have some Christmas ones. We did all of the first 4 Indiana Jones movies, and we did The Rock with Scott Henson. Great one. One of our favorites. Yeah, so go check that out. Patreon.com/IIHS podcast. On social media, we are at IIHS podcast, all one word. We are on Threads, Twitter, fuck you Elon, it's not X, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube. We are at IIHS podcast. So go check us out over there. Topic suggestions, Q&A, updates, that's where you'll see all of those. So yeah, that's all the calls to action. Do you have anything you want to add?
No.
How about one last fuck you Pat Monahan? How about that?
Well, duly added.
Are you gonna add one yourself, or are you just gonna acknowledge that I added one?
I think the latter.
All right, Maxwell's still trying to save face just in case he runs into Pat Monahan.
You never know.
He doesn't want to get fucking shanked.
I don't want to see him and his hefty bag of love.
His 2-ply hefty bag to hold his love.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Be scary. I'll be really scared of him. Seeing him with that.
You know, he's got the 2-ply hefty bag, but what else does he got? You never know, and it's best to not find out, because he might need 50 ways to say goodbye, if you know what I mean.
For real, like us.
You'll be visited by an angel in blue jeans. You know.
I think it's time to stop.
Something. Meet Virginia, drops of Jupiter. Good night, everyone.